I don't know that the Browns with Stefanski are going to be able to get back to any version of Minnesota. I think he's evolved too much. I don't think that part exists, though, Nick.
Yeah, I think it's a little pie in the sky to suggest I don't want to say the only change, but the biggest change you're making is Deshaun gone, and now we're back to the offense. Just because, like, when the Browns, when Stefanski took over, and they had that had been a thing that had been building for 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Including across 2 different regimes there. So that was primed for a jump start. They've never had to start, though, from where they're starting now.
Right, yeah.
They've never had to start from 3-14. And you add that to a lot of this is just, well, these guys have been around, so we know they can do it. Yeah, but guys do run out of legs. You know, like there's a chance that a lot of the guys they're counting on either can't stay healthy or they just don't have it anymore. You know, like I think that's the one thing that we're not, because we fall back on, well, Bitonio. That's assuming Bitonio can, I think Wyatt Teller can still do it. He's also 30. Posix had like a good season of football as a center. Conklin's older. You get to the defensive side of the ball, like, yeah, Miles and Denzel were very good individually last year. The rest of the defense wasn't, and they still are piecemealing a lot of the production, similar to the thing that I think let them down last year, and you might have less depth this year. So it's just interesting. Like, I really do understand what they're going for, but it feels a little bit like they're built on a house of cards when it comes to the idea of, well, we're just running it back to what we used to do.
Well, I think it's a good point you make. Like, we are kind of just playing with an assumption that even Bitonio had struggles last year. We're playing with the assumption that someone like that's going to come back and just be good. And these guys do get older, and then you do have injuries, and there's just a lot to have to account for in an NFL season.
216-474-0092. Want to hear from you guys on this. Jimmy Watkins, Cleveland.com columnist, coming up in just about 15 minutes here. But as we are having this conversation, we did ask Stump about the Camp Cupcake allegations, which he would neither he didn't necessarily so he didn't agree with, but didn't necessarily refute.
I mean, wasn't he was in charge of some parts of the camp? That's why I think he would not, you know what I mean? He's not going to sit there and throw himself under the bus.
What parts? Did he choose the Greenbrier?
Not the Greenbrier.
Is Stump a Greenbrier Waltz guy?
He does not seem like a Greenbrier Waltz guy.
Okay.
No. There's definitely portions,
because I feel like there are a lot of Stumps in West Virginia.
There are definitely portions that you'd go to camp, though, and you'd see who's the only one yelling right now on the field. Oh, it's Stump Mitchell losing his mind. Like, that definitely was a part of it. I wondered if he had almost too much investment into how the camp was shaped to be able to say it was Camp Cupcake or not.
So there are 2 things we're going to play here. One is Brown safety Grant Delpit, who was on the best podcast available, talking about how different the intensity is this year at OTAs.
Violence. Like, he wants people to just throw haymakers.
That's true. Like, I know to get better at physical violence, the only real remedy is more physical violence.
Let's fight fire with fire, Nick. Let's make this a reality.
Now, if we compare that to Nathan Segura was on with the Morning Boys earlier today and talked about maybe what these OTAs are looking like and how it corresponds to maybe previous years. Now you're going to see less of them because you're only allowed to see 6 practices.
Yeah.
But when you do go, you're going to notice these are longer and tougher practices there. That's a shot at the Browns, not at Nathan, I promise. There's a part of me that respectfully, my answer is I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, and we'll have opportunities. We'll be out there. We'll see what happens.
At least 6.
No, I mean,
not for
us. Yeah, we'll be there.
Get like 3.
Well, so last year, what's interesting, so the ones that Stump were involved in, we didn't really hear the same thing. And then last year, I remember just so many people were like, yeah, this is like Club Med. was the other term they kept using. It was Camp Cupcake, and this is like Club Med, and it just became the prevailing thought throughout training camp that Kevin just had this lackadaisical nature to himself about it all.
I could see if Kevin felt last year, we don't have enough guys healthy. We don't want to get more guys on the IR. I'm going to lighten up on camp a little bit. What's interesting is you haven't got any younger. And there's a reason that veteran coaches on veteran teams will pull back on the gas and not go too hard or too heavy with training camp is you do start to worry about, too physical of a training camp with an older team can lead to more injuries. So it's interesting that at least the attempt here is we're going to be, and again, I can't bash it because I want a more physical team. I want a team that doesn't collapse when they get punched in the face. And my biggest knock on Kevin is I don't think that's the guy to lead you out of 3-14 right now. Because I don't think he has, when things are good, I think guys love playing for Kevin. When things are bad, I don't think guys love playing for the Cleveland Browns. I think that is related to what style of coach you have, although it's not all Kevin's fault. That's all I'm trying to say. So there's a part of it that's like, cool, let's see an actual tougher camp here. You got to acknowledge the risk, though, that the first time a couple guys pop ACLs, there will be some natural pushback in that order.
Well, or how about the idea that we have 2 joint practices this year, too?
Yeah.
And so with 2 joint practices, you got twice the opportunity than most teams to have injuries, to have all sorts of what we're talking about. Like, it's almost as if they're overcorrecting. We haven't even seen them do it yet, but we're wondering if they're going to overcorrect. And instead of having that label Camp Cupcake, maybe they turn into Belichick on steroids.
All right. Not to be that guy. I also don't know that I believe it.
Well, that's the other. We got to wait to see. We don't know yet.
So I think that there's going to be more practice because I think you're going to try and you are trying to do this. To me, this is less about.
It's naturally going to look busier, right? When you have 4 quarterbacks competing for a job and you use 2 different fields to do so, to the point where media members that go can't even watch it all because there are just so many things happening just by the nature of it all. It's going to look like a traffic jam.
So I think that's I don't think that this is about we got to get tougher and we got to. No, I don't think that's what this is about.
We're doing like a Cavs postseason convo.
Yeah. And maybe they just need tougher training camps. I've been saying it for the Cavs for a while.
I thought the city of Cleveland was pretty tough. What happened here?
Kenny's Camp Cupcake days over? Oh, wait, that says Kevin's. I think this is about the quarterbacks. And I think that's where, again, the ambitiousness of this thing, I think if the Browns get a glow up and because they had a tougher camp, it's not going to be because that was like the goal or Kevin's turn. It's now Kevin's now he's no longer Kevin the coddler. He's Kevin the badass, right? It's not because of that.
Kevin the badass.
I don't think it happens. He's got an earring. One earring.
He all of a sudden gets like a goatee. He shows up with the leather bike jackets and everything.
And Zubaz pants.
Zubaz
a real bad. Well, he's bringing him back. Badasses are bringing back Zubaz. That's a real thing. That's a word on the street.
Kick his ass, Zubaz.
Too soon. Now, if you do get some kind of glow up from this, I think it's going to be incidental, meaning I don't expect this going forward. I think Kevin's turned over a new leaf. I think Kevin is Kevin. I think he's settled into who he is and what he believes, and I think he very much believes in his system, his thing, how they do things, and some of it's negotiable, but most of it isn't, and that's okay, by the way. He's earned, going on 6 years, he's earned it to some degree. I just am a little skeptical that all of a sudden we're going to get Coach Hardass out there.
I don't think we're going to get that because it's just not in his nature. At some point, Kevin Stefanski is still just who Kevin Stefanski is. But I will say this. I'm expecting to see a more energized Kevin Stefanski and a more refreshed Kevin Stefanski and someone that feels like he's got something to actually coach for. Because last year, again, going into that training camp, man, something was off. It's as if he knew Deshaun Watson wasn't ever going to get there, but he was having to play the hits and do what he was being told or something because it just didn't look right. I mean, part of it looked right.
I think it would make sense if last year the entire organization felt, not even just the locker room, if everyone just felt the weight of everything that had happened the 2 previous years, and that they probably had an idea that the offense was going to be a real problem, that it wasn't gelling, and some of that was some of the stuff Stump talked about. Some of it was maybe just some things naturally happening with Deshaun, but we'll see. I think this is hey, it's cool if it happens. I don't know I'm putting stock into it just yet.
Yeah, and I don't know that we need to monitor it day by day. I think it'll be one of those things when we go out to camp the first couple times, we'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, this is different. And that's really all you have to really take in.
Kevin's Camp Cupcake days over? And do you think that would be the right move for the Cleveland Browns? 216-474-0092. I am kind of happy they're not going to Greenbrier. That always felt like a made-up thing.
It was a boondoggle.
If
there ever was a boondoggle.
Mostly because the noise they were trying to get away from, I think, was local media, not spouses or any of the other distractions guys have everywhere they go.